Hey everyone, this is Hafizullah Masoudi and you're watching from Code with Hafiz. I welcome you to the 8th video of this series where we will discuss CSS links and CSS lists. So first of all, we have CSS links. So we can style links with any CSS property, color, font family, background, etc. Now their style is depending on what state the link is in. So we have 4 states for a link. So first of all we have the link itself, which is the normal and unvisited link, and second we have the link visited state, which is a link the user has visited, and third we have the link hover state, which is a link when the user mouses over it, and finally the fourth, which is the link active state, which is a link the moment it is clicked. So to show you some examples, let's create for example a link. So let's create a link here, and for the href let's declare it hash because we want to just experiment a little bit. So let's say this is a link, and now if we refresh the browser, so this is our link. Now let's get back to our style tag, and in here let's say a colon link. So this is the unvisited styling. So let's say color, and we want this one to be red. So now if we refresh the browser, now you can see because this link is unvisited, so it is in red color. And next up we have a colon let's say visited. So visited, and for this one let's say color green. And now if we visit the link, so if I refresh and visit, now you can see its color has been changed to green. And next up what we have is, let's say a colon hover. So for this one let's say color, and let's say purple. So now if we hover over the link, so you can see its color is being changed to purple. Now finally we have the active. So let's say a colon active, and for this one let's say color, and let's say blue. So this is right away when we click this link, it will get the blue color. So as you can see, when I click on it, it's getting the blue color. Now while setting the style for several link states, there are some order rules that must be ensured. For example, the hover state must come after the link state and a visited state, and the active state must come after the hover state. As you can see in the example here, first of all we have the link state, then we have the visited and hover state, and finally we have the active state. So keep this in mind. Now next up we can decorate the links with text decoration property also. So to show you this one, for the link let's remove this property, and if we say text hyphen decoration and let's say none, so if we refresh the browser, now you can see it's not getting the underline. And for the visited let's also say text hyphen decoration none, and for the hover let's say text decoration underline, and for the active let's also say text decoration, so text decoration and let's say underline. Now if I refresh the browser, and for now you can see the link itself is not decorated, and when I hover the mouse over it, you can see it's getting the underline, and when we click on it, it still gets the underline. Now this was how to decorate a text. So next up what we have is that we can define the background color for links also. So to show you some examples, in here what we can do is, let's say for the link state we want a background color of yellow, and for the link visited state we want a background color of, let's say, cyan, and for hover state we want background color of, let's say, light green, so light green. And for the last one, which is the active state, let's say background color, and let's say hot pink. And if we refresh the browser now you can see, because this link is visited, so it is getting this cyan color. And if we hover over it, you can see it's getting the light green color. And if we click on it, you can see it's hot pink. Now next up, we can create link buttons too. So for this one, we will combine several CSS properties to display links as buttons. So to show you some examples, let me remove all of this code from here, and let's say a colon link, and then comma, and let's say a colon visited. So we will style two properties at the same time. So let's say first of all background color, and let's say hash, and let's say 4f 43 and 36, and let's say color. So for color, let's say white, and let's declare some padding, so 14 pixels and 25 pixel for right and left. And then let's say text align, so let's say center, and then we want the text and decoration, so none. And then we want the display, so let's say display inline block. Now after this, let's also design the hover state, so a colon hover comma a colon active. So for this one, let's declare a background color, so let's say for example red. And now if we refresh the browser, now you can see we have a nice button. So if we hover over it, you can see its color is being changed to red. So to show you some more examples, let's style this link in another way. So what we can do is, for this background color, let's say for example white, and for the color of the text, let's say black. And we also want some border, so let's say border to px and a solid, and color should be green. And the rest of the styling is alright. So for the background color of hover and active, let's say green. And we also want some color of text here, so let's say white. So if we refresh the browser now you can see we have this kind of button. Now finally, what we have is the links cursor type. So we can declare the cursor type too for links. So to show you this one, what we can do is we can declare a cursor type for this. So let's say a curly braces, and let's say cursor, and you can see in here it will take a lot of for example values. So to show you some examples, let's declare it auto. So if I refresh, it will be automatic. So you can see for the text it is changing to this text cursor, and for the rest of the button it is the mouse pointer. So if we declare it, for example, let's say cross hair, and if we refresh, now you can see it's a cross hair. So if we declare it, let's say suppose a pointer, so if we refresh, now it will be a pointer. So if you want to check out all the cursor types, you can search for example cursor types in CSS in the Google, and you will get all the list in there. Now next up, what we have is the CSS lists. So if you watched my HTML complete series, you know that we have two types of lists in HTML, which is unordered lists and ordered lists. Now CSS properties allows us to set different list item markers for ordered and unordered lists both, or set an image as the list item marker and add background colors to lists and list items. So to specify the type of list item marker, we have the list style type property in CSS. So to show you some examples, let's remove the link from here because we don't need it, and let's remove this one also, and let's create an unordered list. So ul, and let's say li here, and let's say example 1. So let's duplicate it a couple of times, example 2, 3 and 4, and let's create a OL also, so OL, and let's say LI, so let's say example 1, and duplicate it a couple of times. So for this one 3 times, let's say 2 and 3. Now to style these lists, in our style tag we can say UL curly braces, and let's say list style type, and for this one let's say circle, and let's say OL, so OL curly braces, and list style type, and let's say upper Roman. So if we get back to our browser and refresh, now you can see the styling has been changed. So if I change the circle to square and the upper Roman to, let's suppose, lower alpha, so lower alpha, and if we refresh now you can see we have a different style type for the lists. Now to set an image as the list marker, we can use the list style image property. So to show you an example of this one, let's say for this UL we want list style image, and we can declare our URL. So let's go to the images folder, and then we have this SQ purple. So let's select this and save this, and now if we refresh, now you can see we have an image for the marker of the list. Now next up what we have is the list style position property to specify the position of the list item markers or bullet points. So to show you this one, let's say for this UL, let's return the old code, which is the square style type, and let's say list style position, and let's say outside, and let's duplicate this one. So for the OL, let's say inside, and if we refresh this now you can see it is in the outside, and the next one, which is the OL, their markers are inside. Now next up what we have is, if you wanna remove all the default settings for lists, you can use the list style type property to remove the markers. Now the lists have margin and padding too, so we need to declare margin and padding both to 0 too. So to show you this one, let's remove the default styling from the UL. So for this one we can say list, so let's say list style type, and we can declare this one to none, and then let's say margin 0 and padding also 0. So if we save this, refresh, now you can see we have a list without any styling. Now next up what we have is the shorthand property for lists. So we can use this list style property to declare the list style, type, position, and image. So to show you this one, for example, let's remove the OL properties from here, and now let's say list style, and let's say it should be square, and let's say it should be inside, and we want a URL of image for it. So let's say images, and then SQ purple. So if I save this and refresh, now you can see it is also getting the list styling. Next up, we can also style lists with colors to make them look a little more interesting. So to show you some examples, what we can do is, let's say for the UL, we want to remove all of this code. So let's say background, and for the background let's say hash ff9999, and let's say padding, so for padding let's say 20 pixels, and then we want to design the LIs inside the UL. So for that we can say UL, so UL space LI, and now we can say background color, so let's say background or background only, and let's say hash CCE5 and FF, and let's also declare a color for it, so let's say dark blue, and let's also give it some margin, so 5 pixels. And for the OL, let's also design it. So for this one, let's say for example background color, and let's say hash, so 3399FF, and after this I want some padding too, so let's say padding, and let's say 20 px, and let's duplicate this one. So this should be for OLLI, and let's say for the background color we want, for example, hash FF E5 and E5, and then we want some padding too, so padding is alright, and let's also declare color, so dark red, and then we want some margin, so let's say margin, and let's say for example 35 px. Well, let's make this one margin left, so margin left. So if we save this and refresh the browser, now you can see, well, I have mixed the colors of the backgrounds. So what we need to do is, let's cut this color from here and paste it for the UL. So I will paste it here and cut the UL's color and paste it for the OL. So let's paste it here, and now if we refresh, now you can see it's looking much better. So this being done, guys, that was all about CSS links and lists. I hope you enjoyed watching the video and found the content informative. If so, don't forget to give the thumbs up and a nice comment too, and if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe too if you want more videos like this. So thanks for watching. See ya in the next video.